I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm going to give this bit of reference before I get to the rest of it that's important. This is my father, King Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Warfield Simpson. My father, if you look closely, looks nothing like the man. They've distorted and redone all the photos. And my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, you can't even find a photo of her anymore. My Aunt Georgia O'Keefe is the artist from Madison, Wisconsin. My father was married to my mom. She was queen. I was born in 39. The legal monarch, Victoria II, all papers, legal channels gone through and signed. George helped the Illuminati, my uncle, take down his own brother and become the illegal monarch, George VI. Then, thus, Elizabeth is the illegal second. They're on and they're on. They're illegal traitors, war criminals, and should be treated as such. Now, this is just one of the doubles. Now, does he look anything like my father? This is Wallace Simpson, quite frankly, an American spy. I've heard those say that she was German. God help us all if you didn't blame Germany for everything, or me. Okay, this is Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flynt. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th, 1978, when I was living in Moonraker Apartments in Marietta, Georgia. Atlanta, Marietta. It's a suburb. This Mr. Flynt helped me in a campaign, and I won't get into that again. He says here that Ms. Childers, he knows me and said that I knew who was responsible for his shooting. And that's Larry McDonald, who was a doctor, congressman, U.S. congressman, and I ran in that campaign here, just prior. This is for the presidency. And he flew me out there. This is in 83, because I became a candidate, and because the doctor, congressman I'd written about was supposed to be on the KAL that veered into Russian airspace, and the Russians shot it down. That was from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea, with 260 passengers aboard. This was a takedown of the plane, and it was using mind control. The pilot was programmed to veer off space and get shot down, of course. 260 people died. Supposedly, Larry McDonald, congressman doctor, was on it, but there's a question if they just took the whole plane down to make it appear that way. Because in my book I was writing, it was connection to Center for Disease Control, murders, and I bet I don't get these up today, but I was going to go on the next video if I can get this one up, that happened at Piedmont Hospital where Larry McDonald, he was doctor, urologist. I was kidnapped in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama. My mom's Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, married to my father. They took him down with character assassination. And if you ever get to hear about me and my sons, they frame me. You should hear what they've done to me. His daughter, the monarch here. Okay, this is the Dempsey family. And this was in, I believe, what? 38. So this is Mr. Flynt. I want to say that Mr. Flynt was shot by a program shooter, and this was what I was writing about, the Tesla files. You can cure an illness, cancer, anything you want to, make people appear to have heart attacks, or you create it all. Or you can program someone to commit suicide or appear to, like Robin Williams, or the shooter at Virginia Tech. If you notice, the shooters are actually programmed, most of them, to turn around and appear to commit suicide. This is James Holmes, Grand Theater shooting in Aurora, Colorado. They put him in the mental hospital. They fed him psychotic drugs. This man was programmed. If you ever get to see this one, it will prove itself. It's one of those that's done in patterns that you can't dismiss it. If you're told and certain evidence is admitted in court, like Scott Peterson is on death row, and that was totally programmed out there. Now, how would you like to go? This man's programmed. He didn't even know it. How would you like to go and you had cancer or some other horrible disease, and they treated you for mental illness and fed you psychotic drugs and other horrific drugs and called you mentally ill? Would you like it? Let's throw in a few shock treatments. Let's say several years. Can you imagine what that would do to a person? First of all, there's so many laws that are broken, and where are all you psychiatrists and your dentists that put chips in you? And I've put all this up, and I even usually include a page out of Tex Marr's book, and he wrote his after I did mine. Tried to get it published, and I was almost killed April the 1st of 83. I should have died. I hope that's told. That's the most hideous that was done to me. To shut me up about the book, the Center for Disease Control, Larry McDonald, doctors there at Piedmont Hospital, and I didn't know about my kidnapping at the time. It was late 83 when I found out. Now, I know, by the way, on the Watergate tapes is the 18-minute gap is where Henry Kissinger, who was Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State under Nixon, was ordering me lobotomized if the Brits didn't follow through with the demands be met. They would do that to me, and they were ready to. That was in 1972. Now, Nixon's on this KAL just prior to takeoff from Aurora to South Korea. He's suddenly taken off just before the plane flies off, supposedly with Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald on it, who had written about. It's a question whether he was really on it or not, or they just let the 260 plus die. Okay, I'm going to get over here. I'm not sure in Georgia here, O'Keefe, my aunt. I want to see if I can get more things here. I hate to get in a hurry because you lose your train of thought. So now I'm going to go here. See if I can get this without showing my nose. Now I'm going to try to read because I don't have a person writing my speeches. I don't have a camera person or anyone helping me here. So let me see if I can I got a $35 Walmart phone too, by the way. I want to put this down again here first, maybe. I'm just going to go through this trying to get it up. I got some other things I have to do today, but I wanted to get this up. Elizabeth Windsor Mountbatten is not the legal monarch. She is a traitor, a war criminal, and high-ranking member of the Illuminati, the global government, now under the guise of the United Nations, New York City, Rockefeller Foundation, all that is there. The media is there, and you see it plain as day. Rockefeller Plaza, on NBC. I don't know if CBS is right in there, but ABC, just look at it. And they control your media and everything. Okay, I want to put this in, if you follow me, please. On April 16th, 2007, was the shootings at Virginia Tech, next door to me. I'm in Roanoke, Salem, and that happened in Blacksburg, next door. Here, about 60 miles at the most from here, probably, 40, more like it. But anyway, it's not important at the minute. But the shooter was programmed to shoot himself. He was from South Korea, excuse me. So there was 33 shot there total. So he was programmed to kill himself. And he was programmed to, like a lot of these others. Now, I wanted to Oh, go back to Elizabeth. On the day right after the shooting, I didn't get the date she actually came through. It was right about that time. I remember where I was. I'd just come off the Appalachian Trail, where I'd lived up on the mountain for a long, long time, winter, summer. A lot of times I tried to hold up in Full Heart Knob Shelter off Mountain Pass Road. That's up in the forest. And I really almost died up there. I froze, starved. It's how people have treated me. Like I have a plague. They didn't want to hear about my kidnapping. Oh, well, you're British. So your mom's Claudia Ruth O'Keefe American. So your dad was a character assassination. So all these things happened to you. Move on out of our way. There's been very few that give a rat's about what happened to me. The Illuminati is your global government, the United Nations, your Freemasons, and they're in control of everything now, and they have been for a while. So, Elizabeth was en route at this time of the shooting to, well, she came right by here, and I'm up on the mountain. She knows all about me. She's illegal. She's a war criminal. She represents the Illuminati, not the British people. In fact, she went to, uh, well, she went to Canada, and she also went to other, let's see, who was I trying? Australia. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. Excuse me, Australia. The Aussies tried to help me, so don't ever tell me they're not British. Excuse me. But Elizabeth went to other British holdings, if you want to say it, territories, colonies. Of course, you made colonies sound bad, but what you've done to me and to us is not bad. Oh, excuse me. And the Indians, the original, here in America, if I get a little upset because I'm living in hell and telling you this, and nobody thinks they've done it wrong, and I'm fear of them walking up and handcuffing me. So anyway, I was talking about the American Indians. The people you shoved off and you forgot about, but everybody else has rights except me and my children. We don't have any, obviously. So here I am up on the top of the mountain here, and freezing, starving, have been. And here's Elizabeth being called Queen. And can you believe that some of the students from Virginia Tech actually curtsied to her and begged her to help them because of the shootings? I thought, I'm up here, so I'll leave it at that. Elizabeth went on through, passed me right by, as she always has, knowing all this. She went to Richmond, the capital, and made a speech and was honored. She went on up to D.C. and was honored with a banquet and all this finery. I'm lucky to even have rags on me, or able to eat at all. Okay, she spoke before the United Nations, which is your global government, which came into power, let me remind you, when they took down my father, Edward VIII, who was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, still married, and together October the 20th of 86. A double married Wallace Simpson and became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. He died in 72. I hope I'm getting this up. I'm trying to, because I got some other things going on, and so I'm going to get a little confused here, I bet you anything. Anyway, okay, I did, didn't I? Okay, Elizabeth represents... Okay, you go back to when they took my father down. They framed him, and they have me too. I can't even use my real name, but you should see all of what they've done to me and my sons, Mark and Scott. Mark's there after me, and then Scott would be. So I live in fear all the time. Are my children okay? Because they went through hell. And they talk about civil rights, and I don't have any. My sons had none. Now, and I want to finish this, if I may, please. Okay, I've lost my train of thought. I got away again. So there you go. I don't know where I'm going from here. I did get away from it. Anyway, after they took my father down with character assassination, the double that married Wallace, not my father, That is when the legal treaties that are so important in all this, and there are copies of them. Yes, there are. I hope it's copies of my birth too. But anyway, and my father's marriage to my mom, and she's a legal monarch, Queen of England. Okay, the treaties, this is a timeline. You can go to it. When they took my father down in 36, when they, with false allegations, all of it was a lie. Behavior was the double in Marion Wallace. But the illegal treaties were either allowed to be signed or signed by George the illegal George VI, Elizabeth's father. So your lineage that is illegal there, and they represent not England, not British people. They represent the Illuminati, the global government, the Henry Kissingers, who said Diana should be. He was with her when she's flaunting all, giving away to charity. That's my money. Part of it she gave away. I'm in rags. Can you get this, people? Would you? I mean, this is ridiculous. And Henry Kissinger, who had me laid out to be lobotomized, and I hope this is going out, and if I turn it, it's going to probably take it off. Had me lobotomized in 1972, I believe it was, the Watergate tapes, the 18-minute gap on them. He's up there, she's given in D.C. being honored. You should see me dragging my book, Letters from the FBI, going to Ronald Reagan, and what happened to me after then. Oh, it is a holy hell. Because I told the truth, because of who I am and my father is. So I bet I got away from it there too, so excuse me. Anyway, I've turned all this, over, and but let me get on track here. I wanted to get back to where I was almost killed, and I'm not going to say how because it's most hideous. This is April Fool Day of '80, after I had letters from the FBI, 2 of them, ongoing investigation, national security involved. Okay, that was signed by U.S. Attorney William Harper out of Atlanta on June the 23rd of 79. June the 23rd is my father's birthday, King Edward VIII. So then, with the FBI letters, investigation, I'm almost killed April Fool Day of '80, because this has been a friggin' joke that they can do this to me, all this going on, to Great Britain, to my children, my mom and dad, the British people, and some of your own people here, my goodness, that I'm telling you about. Would you like for Scott Peterson to be your son and on death row because he was programmed, or any of the others? Okay, so I can't get into all that, so I'm going to jump around a minute. By the way, Governor of Alabama, George Wallace, was shot by a program shooter in Laurel, Maryland. The woman that killed her twins, and they brought me over here and gave me Peggy's name. It was Peggy and Carl. She killed them. The family knew it. She inserted herself into his campaigns. He didn't like her. And if you get mad at me and think I'm prejudiced, you're wrong. But then I don't think anybody really cares. I say I like Robert E. Lee, and H.E., no, I don't like that they tore his statue down. And herein I'm going to get to this, and these people will be ready to tear me apart. What if they tore Martin Luther King's monument or something down? You would be hysterical and marching all over this country. And I'm going to forget the rest of it because I'm trying to get all this up. I want to get back to this real quick, and hopefully you care enough to follow it. And the condition I was in, and let me remind you, I thought Jimmy Carter was a good guy. Reverend Andrew Young was with Martin Luther King in Memphis when he was shot and killed. Martin Luther King, partnered with John F. Kennedy, who helped in my kidnapping. His dad was ambassador to